All right, hello and welcome. I'm doing this video again because there were some disruptions and a whole lot of noise like the minute I tried to push the last one, the record on the last button. That's okay. So this is going to be an all signs next 48 reading. This is October. It's funny. I don't know if October 21st will be important to you. It's Samhain and the solstice, but today is September 21st, so this will go to the 23rd. And I know that today is a portal and definitely an important day for a fair number of you, especially relationship wise. Now, interestingly enough, one of the homophone cards that came out. Oh, thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to this video. I appreciate it, and it adds your energy to the collective I read for, which then makes, each reading gets a little more personalized for you. And it not as much as it could because it's a general reading, but you'll definitely get more connection out of it. Anyways, yeah, I've not yet had this card come out in this direction for a reading yet. I've had it on that side, but it's some, and I find it interesting because I've been seeing a lot of 10 energy and a lot of 21 energy today, and also 8. So I'd imagine that a lot of either you or someone you know is praying for strength, and that so Spirit is coming in with the Wheel of Fortune, bringing them various situations that they have to be strong for. And that's not a bad thing in this case. It is helping them get the strength to get out of a situation that they've probably been very unhappy in for a while. And it's funny too, because being that this is an upright, I'm kind of getting the sense of a couple of things. One, 6 equals the lovers, and 4 equals the emperor. So already we have a little bit of Gemini, Venus, Mercury energy, and we also have spiritual relationship in there. And we have 4, the emperor, which is a little bit of Aries energy and a little bit of Leo energy in there too. Definitely fire energy in there though, and it's great to see emperor energy in there in particular. Now, and I'm also feeling called, seeing as today is the 21st, like that is the world card, which is the number that I've been seeing. It's like a chapter ending, and we also got that. That's funny. I just realized that in today's tarot cards, but also break it down. 2 and 1 is the High Priestess and the Fool, and 2 and plus 1 is 3, the Empress. So it's interesting that we have the Lovers and the Emperor here now, and I have a feeling that there are. Oh, there's so many disruptions. I I have a feeling that there's a lot of disruptive energy still happening, and that's probably creating a fair amount of towers. We still have Mars retrograde in Aries too, so there's that added oomph to that, especially with Uranus retrograde in Taurus. So there's a lot of shakeups going on, and with tail in reverse, especially on the iguana side. It's funny, I'm actually feeling like this side is also relevant right now. Tale as in a story. And it's interesting because the book is empty in there, but it's reversed. Um, what I'm getting a sense of is it's likely that an emperor is, I want to say, sort of putting 2 and 2 together. But it's not 2 and 2. It's not the High Priestess and the High Priestess. It's lovers plus the emperor. And sometimes even the Lover's card can represent third-party situations. So it could be that there are some masculine figures who are kind of putting 2 and 2 together and recognizing that maybe they have some healing to do in the area of love, or maybe they're recognizing their lover. If that's you, maybe you're recognizing that, or it could be that you are feeling recognized by them. Either way, some sort of an equation has been laid out in an, I want to say, in alignment. And being that 6 and 4 is 10, Wheel of Fortune right there, which also then goes back to the Fool. So a new beginning of some kind as the wheel turns. And having tail in there, somehow I feel like for some of you this will be, I'm going to say, likely a masculine figure, likely somebody who is of some kind of romantic, spiritual connection for you, is kind of feeling like they have their tail tucked between their legs. It might be that considering that Well, it's funny. This does not have the answer on it. I think for some of you that might be a lesson to be learning, that you don't need to know the answer because you already know the answer, right? But there are some out there, and especially when we're kids, that we don't know the actual answer. That we have to count it out on our fingers and do the math and things like that. But it may have been that either you gave them the answers, or they were given the answers, or that spirit gave them the answers, and that they were not listening and now have had the wheel turn, and they're now feeling like they should have listened. Or they're feeling like maybe they've awakened and they've realized, who is their lover, and they want to connect with them, but they're feeling like they have their tail tucked between their legs. The other thing is too, in reverse, so I think of the actual image of the iguana. And the iguana is an interesting reptile. So its tail can actually disconnect from its body, and although it hurts, it doesn't like hurt it in the sense of like it won't be without a tail forever. It will regrow a new tail, and it's partly a defense mechanism. Like it can whip with the tail, it can be a weapon, or it can actually snap off its own tail to um as kind of a, what do you call it, a distraction method. Like it can, the tail will keep wiggling, and it can distract an animal that might be trying to eat it, or something that it doesn't feel like it can fight. So I think for some of you, either you or someone you know might be using some sort of distraction as a defense mechanism. Maybe somebody they're in some kind of karmic or toxic entanglement with, or it could be that the person that they're with or you're with is using that as a means to try to keep you busy. It may be that someone is trying to keep you from putting the numbers together, connecting the dots, and they're using like a lot of errands, or victim stories, or there's a lot of strange emergencies. I keep hearing sirens too, like fire trucks, police, and EMTs. So it could be that they're coming up with a lot of different distractions. And for others, it could be, especially if you're in a twin flame dynamic, it could be that they're feeling like you are kind of hydra, so to speak, if you're a divine feminine or divine masculine, and like no matter what they try to do to distract or to scare you off, either you just keep regrowing your tail, and it's better and better each time. It's stronger each time, and like you're kind of this elusive creature to them, especially if you've been working on you and glowing up and just allowing the connection to be whatever it's going to be. Now, the cards that we got, I showed one of them earlier. We have I was going to say the Wheel of Fortune again. It's funny, that energy is really, it's also the Wheel of Destiny, and it's divine timing. So there might be something happening today, tomorrow, the next day, that either, I have a feeling a fair amount of you will actually see it manifested in some form, a conversation, a surprise visit, an invitation, something that you weren't, like you may have been hoping for it or intuiting it, but not quite expecting it, or you might not have been expecting it at all. But it might also be that the cooperative components that need to be in place for you to receive that message or invite or conversation or confession or whatever thing, that you might not see that until after the next couple of days. But either way, it certainly looks to me like somebody is done juggling, in a way. Like I feel like some of you are done juggling, financial situation, family situation, going between lovers, going between children, and some of you are going to see that someone's done juggling that. But it also feels like a new sort of juggling is going to happen, but it's positive, and it's likely that money will be starting to flow in, good karma will start to flow in. This is definitely an end of a chapter of juggling, and a beginning of a chapter of playfulness, playful communication. And there's also, we see the infinity symbol in there, which is also another 8, which 8 has been coming up a lot too. I think a lot of people, if I didn't say it already, probably been praying for strength, and actually ending up manifesting their own Wheel of Fortune situations, which isn't bad and not surprising considering what all's going on. And just what's been going on in the collective. I definitely am It's funny, I'm called to the little ship in the back there again. And it's funny because I know I noticed this in the card in the past, but I really do not recall seeing the sails being any colors. And it's interesting because the two in the back are red and the two in the front are mostly yellow with a touch of green. So it's likely that there's some root chakra, solar plexus, and heart chakra things going on right now, especially for masculines in the energy right now. But and also it may be that feminine, there's, if you identify as feminine or you're waiting on a feminine, it may be that they're feeling free, they're feeling good, they're feeling grateful. I'm really called to the lion down at the bottom corner in there, so it may be that you or they have some kind of Leo connection. Also to this blonde figure up at the top that has almost like reddish, orange, pinkishish hair down at the bottom. It's funny because it looks quite androgynous, so it could be male or female. Maybe that you or someone you know has blonde hair with the tips a different color. Either way, there's more yellow energy, and there's definitely some ego energy. And it could be even that some of this is freeing. You're learning to free yourself from ego energy, learning to balance, learning to glow up. And because they came out in this order, I mean, it certainly looks like the juggler is looking. It's funny, they're actually looking at each other, aren't they? And my first instinct was that this is likely a masculine figure who is observing a feminine figure while juggling things and kind of trying to decide what will make them happy. Not just themselves, but what will make this feminine happy. In fact, I'm getting kind of the sense that for a fair amount of you, if you're feminine, you have a masculine figure who is seeing you as quite complete in your own. Like maybe you don't need money, or maybe you can do most things for yourself, or maybe it could be you've been in a situation with them where they weren't there for you when you needed them and you learned to be able to do it on your own. Or maybe I just saw 12:12 on the clock. Maybe you learned to do that. Whatever it is, they're seeing you as quite complete. And being that this is a two and that they're juggling, their hands are full. Yeah, and they don't look unhappy per se, but they don't exactly look very happy either. And it may be that they're looking at you and trying to figure out what value do they have to add to your life. I mean, you're if this is you, you're in the 21 energy. You're both the Empress and the High Priestess and the Fool, and you're complete. You have self-worth, you have self-love, you have a spiritual connection. You may be into astrology and or tarot. You probably are, and because she's naked, you're probably very authentic and not afraid to be vulnerable even when it's uncomfortable. Yeah, and they're trying to figure out, like, they may be trying to put together some sort of a plan to be able to offer you something, but they're not sure what. It may be that they feel like they need to work a little bit more, get their, money in order, play the count the money game, figure things out. But that ship, I definitely feel like they want to offer you something more emotional than anything else, but it might also include some travel. And the world card is about travel also. And it's also mostly connected to Capricorn. There's definitely some orange energy in there. Sacral chakra. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Maybe some of you will be invited on a short journey to go visit somebody, or maybe they'll make a short journey to see you, or a long distance journey. Maybe they would like to make plans with you. In fact, this could be kind of calendar energy. Maybe it is that they want to put you on their calendar more consistently, more advanced. In fact, they might be thinking about the holidays. Wow, 14:14 on the clock there. Just have a little bit of patience if you're not quite hearing from them yet. On the bottom, in our shadow card position, we have the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Oh boy, and right under that is the King of Swords reversed and Strength. So either, I mean, we got earth sign and air sign energy in there, and fire. We got almost all the elements. And there's whether it's you or somebody you're waiting on, there's been definitely a codependent relationship, likely with somebody who is really bad with money but projected that they're very insecure, they hold on to everything tight too they hold on to everything too tight, likely including their partner, and they can be quite scary and demanding and passive aggressive when they are feeling insecure or threatened or challenged, and a masculine figure who is quite narcissistic and like cares mostly only about his own emotions and his own mask, and has been very cold and very cutting, and they've been in some sort of a codependent dynamic. Interestingly enough, the high priestess is right underneath them. This could, if you identify as feminine, this could be you observing this and getting into, I want to say, meditation, yoga, reading, spiritual practices. This likely you. Um, oh, I meant to say earlier also, this could be you observing somebody, if you're feminine, observing a masculine figure maturing a little bit, because it's good that this is an upright and that it's a pentacle, rather than like the Two of Swords, which we were seeing for quite some time before. Now, the Hot Topic card, Nine of Swords reversed. If you look at this is somebody who's been crying a fair amount and having probably headaches, maybe ear pain, maybe there's too much noise around them. They've been having nightmares and dreams, and they're like, this is kind of when they're in it and they're anxious and they're hypervigilant and probably reactive and exhausted, but they're kind of staying in it. They're still kind of staying trapped in a situation. This is like, I'm so done with this. And I'm also noticing, I mean, okay, it's not actually running this person through, but it is kind of Ten of Swords-ish in a way, that there is a sword going through, it looks like the solar plexus, the heart chakra, and the crown chakra. Actually, it looks like it looks like the heart, the throat, and the third eye, and the crown. So it could be even that you're dealing with somebody who's had a hard time speaking their truth, even knowing their truth, standing in personal power, and using their intuition. And this person is so pushed to the end. For some of you, you might have somebody reach out to you who is kind of at their wits' end. And for others of you, you might hear about somebody who maybe even ended up in like in who went to counseling, or went to like had to go to a hospital to be checked in for a minute. I don't know. I don't get the sense that it turns out bad, but it may just get bad in that moment. There's some sort of a nightmare situation that's being talked about, or intuited, because these are swords. So it may even be that if you're having a no contact with somebody, it may be that they are doing their shadow work, and finally they're ready to be done. They're moving to the Ten of Swords, and interestingly enough, in the heart of the matter, Ten of Wands, which I'm not surprised. Like, there's somebody who's wanted. They've been carrying a lot of burdens all by themselves. They probably had people that were supposed to be helping them, and they're ready to level up to the Page of Wands. They're ready to put down those burdens. They're ready to speak. There might be some confession energy coming out. There might be, oh, interestingly enough, look what's right beneath that Ten of Wands. I would say the Hermit, but it's the Empress. Like, this is almost like the Hermit thinking about the Empress. Wands can also be thoughts and communication and sexual energy. Some of you may have somebody who wants to come in from the cold and get warm by your body as a fireside. You never know. Alright, I'm going to end this soon to keep down on download time. But yeah, okay, yeah, underneath that High Priestess, the Page of Wands reversed, the Four of Cups reversed, the Hermit reversed, the Eight of Pentacles, the Four of Wands reversed, Judgment, Chariot reversed, both Judgment and Chariot reversed, and the Tower. Yeah, the cards that I'm seeing. Oh yeah, here's our Ten of Swords. Right, they're going up there. Somebody, whether you or them, somebody is done with a situation where they've constantly been reactive. They've constantly, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, I need you to do this. There's like constant movement. They're probably already ended the situation, or you already ended the situation, especially if it was like a third party situation. They're still kind of picking up the pieces. There's still some power and control games happening, but it's likely likely you or them are facing kind of a final tower moment, and it's very stressful and overwhelming. They're feeling very judged, and they're worried. If you are on the outside looking in, if you are that world card or the high priestess, whether you're male or female, it is likely that they are worried you are going to judge them, or tell them I told you so, or rub it in their faces or anything. They're feeling very unstable about it right now. But they are committing to doing their work. They're committing to being more prayerful, more reverent about it. But it's, going through those towers, they're feeling very much like the Hermit reverse, very antisocial. But in taking that seclusion, in not jumping right out into trying to get other people involved, they're having an emotional breakthrough, which is really good. They're probably seeing how a lot of their own childishness, impulsiveness, reactivity caused a lot of the very situation they're in, and they may be looking to spirit, or if you identify as a spiritual feminine or divine feminine,